Hey everyone, Massachusetts Prepper here today. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different. We're going to show you how to make a self-watering seed starter or plant holder, whatever you want to call it. I like using these to start my seeds. As you can see, this is a 32 ounce Gatorade jug. Just regular 32 ounce, 1 quart that you'll find at any of your stores. A few of the things we're going to need to make this today is a sponge, a pocket knife, or something to cut your Gatorade jar with, a pair of scissors for cutting your sponge, a Sharpie, or something to mark on your sponge so you know what size sponge to cut for your hole in your self-watering jar, and some kind of tool to make holes in your cap. Now the very first thing we're going to do is make our holes in our cap before we do anything else. This way we got a nice stable base when we're drilling. So I'm going to go ahead and do this right now and just show you how I do it. I normally put 5 holes in my cap. Clean up the holes, as you see, just that kind of a pattern right there. So we have a nice group of 5 holes to let water in. On the inside, you can just clean this up with your knife and get these little pieces out of here. Don't take much time at all. Once you have your holes drilled in your cap, you'll see the purpose of this after. I'm going to go ahead and take my knife and get rid of this label that's on here. We don't need that. We'll clean the chunks out of our Gatorade jug from where we just drilled our holes so we don't have any plastic in there. Now, the way I do this is right here on this seam where there's the round indent in my jug. I'm going to cut right along this edge so I have a nice clean cut all the way around there, and it doesn't matter if it's perfectly straight or not. Just stick your knife or whatever you're using to cut right in there and it'll cut relatively easy. It's plastic, but this is going to be the area that helps hold my top piece in place. And like I said, when you're cutting this, it doesn't have to be really straight. Don't matter if you're getting that gully or not, because you're going to cut a lot of that out of there. Main thing is you just get this separated. Once you've got it separated, you can take your knife and just go around and clean up any jagged edges that you might have. Make it as pretty as you want or as ugly as you want. It doesn't matter. It's going to be used as a planter. Now, this other edge right along here in this gully, basically, we're going to cut that all out of here as well, because we don't really need that. So you can get right in the gully, pierce that again, and cut that right out. Because all we're wanting left is the nice little beveled edge that's on this. The sharper your instrument is to cut, the better this will work for you. But we'll just cut that little banded ring right off, and we'll discard that because we don't need it. Now this is what we're left with. We're left with this little beveled spot, part of the jug. And now, as you see, this will fit right in there and hold it off the bottom. I don't know if you can see that, but the bottom of my top is not touching the bottom of the jar. And that's what we want. We want that to be held up. So in reality, we can cut this off a little bit more. We don't really need all of this top. So what I'm going to do is just trim this off some more so we don't have any of this sticking up. Now you can use an X-Acto knife for this, your pocket knife. If you got a sharp kitchen knife, that'll work as well. Shoot, get technical, you probably grab a hacksaw and whop it off with a hacksaw. But as you see, now this sets right in there, and we got nice clearance. And I don't think you can see that too well, but this sets off the bottom of this outer jug about a half an inch. So gives plenty of room for water to be in this bottom part. Now what we're going to do is take our cap off here, and for this bottom opening right here, we want to take and fit a piece of sponge. Now you can see I've already cut one out of here, but you're going to just place your sponge, your cap, or your bottom part of your jar right on your sponge, and make sure you got your sponge just a little bit moist for this. Works better if it's moist. If it's hard and crunchy, it's not going to cut as easy. Just take a Sharpie and draw an outline right around the bottom of that, so you got an idea of where you're wanting to cut. And as you see, you'll have an outline right there where you're going to cut that out. And you're going to want to cut just on the outside of your line. Now with your sponge wet, of course your Sharpie took and spread out a little bit, but still cut on the outside edge. And it doesn't have to be perfectly round, right on the line, or anything else, because all you're going to do is put your cap back on the bottom of your container part, drop your sponge in, and fit it down into the cap. Then when you take your cap off, your sponge will look just like this, right down there in the bottom part of your container. Now you see the importance of having the holes in our cap, because we're going to have liquid in our bottom part filled up about to this first little bump that's on our Gatorade jug. I don't know if that's really coming in, but right there, that first little bump, we're going to put our water level right to about the bottom of that little bump right there. That way our sponge and our caps and our soil that we're going to put in here is all going to be submerged in that water. That sponge is going to soak up the water. It's going to absorb into the soil, and this is how we're going to have our self-watering plant. Now I'm going to be off camera for just a second. I'm going to go put a little bit of potting soil in here, and I'll come right back. Now, don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but you want to pre-water this soil and that sponge so everything starts dripping through the holes in the bottom. As you can see, there's water dripping out of them holes or whatever. As you can see, we've got some nice dark soil in there, some compost. So what I'm going to do is get some pepper seeds. I'm going to plant a few peppers in here and go ahead and get the water in my bottom part, and we'll be right back. Okay, well, we're back. Now I'm just going to set this. As you can see, I filled my water up to about that first little bump on there, and that's where I'm going to leave it. And I'm going to go ahead and set this down inside my self-watering container. And again, as you can see, the water is above my cap. This is going to soak up the water, bring it up into my soil as needed, keep my soil wet, and keep my plants from drying out. So what I'm going to do is take 4 pepper seeds, and these are just some seeds out of some peppers that I collected. And we're going to see if they come up. I'm going to take a toothpick, just make a little hole, drop the seed in, cover it up. And we'll see if we get any germination out of these seeds whatsoever. And if all 4 of them come up, we'll transplant them into different containers. These will also be good for starting plants that you're going to be wanting to transplant out in the garden. Again, low maintenance. You don't have to really worry about them drying out on you if you don't have time to tend to them every day. I know I drink a lot of Gatorade when it's, you know, warmer weather. We are in November right now, well, the end of November, going into December. So we'll be starting to get some stuff ready to go in the garden. But just thought I would share this little idea with everyone to let you know that, you know, I've seen people do this with soda bottles, plastic soda bottles. But I just find the Gatorade bottles, everything is supported nice and neatly here with the ridges that are already pre-built into this bottle. So everything works real good. Nice little self-watering container. For anyone that wants to try it, here you go. 32-ounce Gatorade bottle, the 1-quart bottle. Cut along that seam as, you know, as I showed in the earlier part of the video. And there you go. Self-watering planter. Pre-water it, make sure you got plenty of soil in there, and you're good to go. Okay, everyone, Massachusetts Prepper. We'll catch y'all next time.